2026 edition of the Clawson City Council. I am going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I invite anyone who wishes to join me to do so. The next item on the agenda is Words of Inspiration, and I'm going to be leading that, and we can all sit and make ourselves comfortable for this. This evening marks a change in the nature of our Words of Inspiration agenda item. Going forward, this responsibility will rotate amongst the council with the intent of helping set the tone for a productive and respectful discussion of the city business. The order was set alphabetically, but I'm honored to be the first to lead. As we begin tonight's meeting, I want to remind us of something fundamental. Democracy works best when we respect differences of opinion and make decisions with the greater good in mind. Differing viewpoints help us move ideas forward, but it is respect of those differences and the shared focus on the well-being of the city that keeps us moving in the right direction. In his 2001 inaugural address, George W. Bush said, "America has never been united by blood or birth or soil. It is bound by ideas that move us beyond our backgrounds and teach us what it means to be citizens." In 2010, Barack Obama reminded us our democracy depends on citizens who are willing to engage each other, to understand each other, and to respect each other. So, as we take up the matters before us tonight, let us be guided by our oath to do what is right for the city of Clawson and a genuine respect for the different perspectives and approaches each of us brings to the table. Roll call, please.
Mayor Moffett,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke,
Here.
Councilmember Peltman,
Here.
Councilmember Rinkovich, Councilmember Slawinski,
Present.
Councilmember Spishak,
Here.
Councilmember Tinlin.
Here.
All right, the next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Madam Mayor, I want to amend the agenda. I move to amend the agenda by adding under new business item 9H, consideration of accepting the resignation of Councilmember Heather Rigby Rinkovich, and item 9I, discussion regarding filling the city council vacancy.
Support. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke,
Yes.
Councilmember Peltman,
Yes.
Councilmember Slawinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Spishak,
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
Mayor Moffett.
Yes. All right. Our next item is public comment for items on the agenda. We invite you to come to the podium and state your name, and please indicate whether you're a resident of this fair city or a visitor. You will be given 4 minutes to speak. And just a reminder that this is not a back and forth opportunity, but any comments that you make will be noted, and we'll try and discuss it when that agenda item comes up. So with that, I'd like to open the floor and invite anyone who wishes to speak to items on the agenda to approach the podium and go ahead and speak. And I don't see anyone moving. Oh, good, okay.
Hi, Jamie Gills, Takanochi, Clawson resident. Mayor and Council, as you continue your budget workshops, I'm asking you to ensure that spending decisions clearly align with the strategic goals you have established. Regarding the proposed changes to the City Hall chambers, this expenditure does not seem to back into any of the goals that we have currently that you worked on. In fact, certain elements of the plan contradict the goal of ensuring meaningful and responsive communication. A layout where officials have their backs to the audience creates a physical barrier to engagement rather than encouraging it. Additionally, when audio is optimized for a video broadcast rather than for the people in the room to hear it, it discourages in-person participation. Given that public comment requires physical presence, the environment should be a welcoming space that encourages participation, not one that creates obstacles to it. Additionally, the city has already invested in modifying the current dais to better accommodate council's needs. Removing it now to install a custom wooden table is not a responsible use of our taxpayer funds. Transitioning to our fiscal transparency, it was noted during the budget discussion that the city should prepare for another bond in 2028. Building public trust for future requests requires demonstrating best practices now. This includes clear budget versus actual reporting on our current infrastructure projects so both council and residents understand exactly where things stand. It is also essential that all remaining bonds and future projections clearly account for inflation, ensuring a realistic understanding of what those funds can accomplish. Finally, regarding prioritization, the budget includes funding for LED lighting, which is categorized as a secondary objective under the objectives you set up. Given the city's long-term fiscal needs and the likelihood of future bonding, I urge you to take a closer look at whether those funds would be better directed toward primary, high-priority goals. And more broadly, I encourage you to apply the same lens across the entire budget, ensuring that all spending decisions consistently support your stated objectives. Thank you for your time and all the work you've done so far on those objectives and the budget.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to items on the agenda?
Hi, my name is Karen, and I'm a Clausen resident. And I wanted to speak to the item on the agenda about the words of inspiration. I did enjoy your words of inspiration tonight. So what I have to say, keep in mind that we have a right to agree and disagree on issues. So council voted to take over the words of inspiration, and that came by the discussion of the separation of church and state. Since this is our 250th anniversary of the signing of our Declaration of Independence, let's look at the founding of our nation to understand. In the 1947 case, Everson versus the Board of Education, the Supreme Court declared the First Amendment had erected a wall between church and state. This wall must be kept high and impregnable. We cannot approve the slightest breach. The separation of church and state phrase was, which they invoked, had already become too familiar and was taken from exchange between letters from President Thomas Jefferson and the Baptist Church Association. Thomas Jefferson was the first anti-Federalist president, and the Baptist Church Association was very glad that he became president. Consequently, they had a president who not only had to champion the rights of the Baptists in Virginia, but also advocate clear the centralization of government powers. Among the millions of Americans in Europe who rejoiced in their election to the office, we embrace the opportunity to express your satisfaction. We have reason to believe that God has the right to fill up the chair of state out of that goodwill. He bears millions to which he preside over. Jefferson believed that God, not government, was the author and the source of our rights, and that the government, therefore, was to be prevented from interference with those rights. Very simply, the fence, the Webster letter, and the wall, the Danbury letter were not limited to religious activities, and that the church and state separation was meant to stop the government from invoking a state church. If the council's decision to limit the speakers of words of inspiration to council members is based upon the idea that they need to separate church and states, that's revolutionist. The point of the letter written privately by Thomas Jefferson to the Danbury Church was to protect the church from dictating a state religion. By excluding us from speaking these words, you are denying our First Amendment right to freedom of religion by making atheism and agnosticism a state religion. That is the opposite of the real meaning of the separation of church and state. If council's decision to limit speakers of words of inspiration is based on the fact that some of you may not believe in God, why are you so opposed to the prayer? If you don't think God is real, what harm could praying do? One of the council members, Meredith, asked one time at the council meeting, how many prayers do I have to sit through? your Christian voters find that biased and offensive. We listen to hours of you speaking, and we don't ask how many more motions and council votes do I
Your
have to
time
sit
is up,
through.
ma'am. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to items on the agenda? All right, seeing no one else approach the podium, I will go ahead and close public comment for items on the agenda. The next item is proclamations and presentations, and tonight we have the organization Breaking the Loop, a community approach to preventing addiction, Health Occupation Students of America. I invite you to come to the podium and go ahead and make your presentation.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having us time to meet with us today. My name is Chloe, and alongside my partner, Anusha, we represent our HOSA project, Break the Loop. Our project focuses on a growing issue that is often overlooked, especially in community like ours, everyday addictions amongst teen and also young adults. What makes this issue so concerning is not just how common it is, but also how normalized it has become. When people hear the word addiction, they often think of extreme cases that is involving drugs or alcohol. But throughout our research and outreach, we found out that addiction today is much more subtle and often goes unrecognized. It appears in a forms like caffeine dependency, excessive social media use, gaming, and work-related stress habits, behavior built into our daily routine, making them more harder to identify as harmful. For example, over 90% of teenagers consume caffeine regularly, and many report their sleep disruption, dependency, and difficulty concentrating it without it. In addition, average teenagers spend 7 or more hours a day on a screen outside of their schoolwork, reinforcing the patterns of overuse. While these habits may seem harmless, over time they impact cognitive function, sleep cycles, and mental health. The core issue we're addressing is the lack of early recognition and open conversation. In many environments, schools, homes, and cultural settings, these habits are dismissed as normal, so people don't realize there is a problem until it affects their health and well-being. That gap is where our project is focused. Our goal is not only to educate, but to help people recognize these patterns early, feel more comfortable addressing them, and take realistic steps towards change before they escalate into more serious concerns.
Thank you, Chloe. Building on what we've learned, our focus moving forward is not just raising awareness, but turning that awareness into consistent, measurable action within our community. One of the biggest gaps we identified is people often recognize the unhealthy habits, yet they lack the structure, accountability, and accessible next steps. And because of this, awareness alone is not enough. To address this, we are proposing micro-intervention programs within existing youth environments. These would be brief, recurring check-ins, about 5 to 10 minutes, implemented in school clubs, after-school activities, and such. Each check-in would include quick habit reflections, small weekly challenges, and peer discussions. The goal is to make self-awareness a continuous practice rather than a one-time conversation. We also want to introduce something to our community which is not utilized currently: anonymous QR-based habit tracking. Students and community members can complete a 30-second check-in by scanning a QR code in public areas and schools. This allows us to gather real local data and behavioral trends, which helps while protecting the privacy, so our future efforts can be guided by evidence rather than assumptions. In addition, we are developing step-down resource models in behavior change. Instead of expecting immediate elimination of habits, we provide realistic, tiered alternatives, making progress more achievable and sustainable over time. In an effort to be more proactive, another key component is peer leadership. By training students to recognize early signs of dependency and lead supportive conversations, we create a system where young people can reach out first, often the most effective point of intervention. Finally, we aim to build a centralized platform with interactive tools, personalized plans, and local resource maps designed specifically for our community's needs. However, for these solutions to move from ideas to impact, collaboration is critical. Support from community leaderships is what will allow us to implement, scale, and sustain these efforts, turning awareness into real lasting change.
With your support, we can begin piloting these in real life community spaces, whether that's integrating micro session into youth program, placing QR-based check-in in a public areas, or hosting recurring workshop in libraries and also a civic centers. Your guidance can also help us navigate how to scale these efforts in a way that's sustainable and also useful. Ultimately, Break the Loop is not just about identifying a problem. It's about building a system that makes changes more easier, more accessible, and also more consistent. We're not just asking for support. We're offering a framework that can grow with us in a community and create a lasting impact. Thank you again for your time and for the opportunity for us to take this next step with you guys.
Thank you so much. You ladies did a great job, and we appreciate the
you.
information. And actually, you know, in my day job, I'm in human resources, and something you said actually made me think of how to solve a solution or a problem at work with an employee. So good information. I really appreciate everything that you guys said tonight. And Councilmember Tinlin is the Youth Assistance Council liaison, and you might want to make sure that you chat with him before the end of the meeting.
Thank
Or
you.
at the end of the meeting, not before, because we'll be talking.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming today. All right. Our next item on the agenda is consideration of approving the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the minutes of the regular council meeting held on Tuesday, March 17th, 2026, the minutes of the goals and objectives city workshop held on Thursday, March 19th, 2026, the minutes of the budget discussion city council leadership for fiscal year 2026-2027 workshop held on Tuesday, March 31st, 2026, and the list of bills in the amount of $894,097.23.
Madam Mayor, I move the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Pelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Slawinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Spishak,
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
Mayor Moffett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke.
Yes.
We have just approved the consent agenda. We now move to new business, and our first item is consideration of approving the goals and objectives developed by council at the March 19th, 2026 Goals and Objective Workshop. Mr. Riker?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Vetrano Consulting was retained at the January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting to facilitate the establishment of goals and objectives for City Council and the administration. Initial efforts were robust discussion between James and individual council members. On March 19th, City Council held a workshop with Vetrano Consulting that shared aggregate information from those individual conversations coupled with collective collaboration to establish new fiscal year goals and objectives. James Vetrano is present to provide additional context and guidance.
Mr. Vetrano?
Thank you, City Manager, members of the Commission. I appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you this evening. I don't really have much clarification or comment other than to point to the document that I believe is in the packet. The elected officials did a tremendous job in the evening that we were able to meet. And it was really more of a prioritization session than a creation of new goals and objectives for the city. I think the city had very strong goals and objectives to start with, which was a great base. Early feedback from the elected officials provided a lot of head start for the meeting, and we were able to jump right into it and do the prioritization exercises. I think as the city continues to evolve with these goals and objectives next year and the year follow, and as you continue to update them, you'll probably see some drop off, probably the ones that are now colored green that are lesser urgent. and some of the other ones, the blue ones, give administration a more clear opportunity to set their goals in the day-to-day operation of the city to meet the expectations of the elected officials. I think the next step that we talked about during our meeting was that the blue objectives in particular, the administration would take a look at to develop a reporting mechanism or reporting mechanisms to allow the elected officials and the public the opportunity to understand what is being done in those areas and how progress is being made. And over time, even in the short term, don't be afraid to make changes if based on those reporting or based on further considerations or based on budget opportunities or constraints. This should be a living document for your continued use and certainly annual consideration, but it's your document. It's not something like an ordinance that's etched for the long term. This is for your relationship with your administration to continue working together in a productive way for the citizens of the city. Happy to answer any questions, but that's my report.
All right, well, let's see if there's any questions. Let's start with Councilmember Tinlin.
Amazingly enough, no. I kind of went through the document, and it stayed pretty close to what we had as a final point. So I'm also interested from the feedback from the other council members as well. So nice job.
Thank you.
Councilmember Spishak.
Nothing from me. Everything looks good from what we talked about.
All right, let's go. Councilmember Slawinski.
Well, I don't know that you can answer this, but at the end of the workshop, we discussed adding some measurables to some of these objectives, and I would like to see that before they're approved. Before these objectives and, yeah.
Yeah, my suggestion to that is that would be something that you'd ask of your city manager and the administration to put together those measurables on the objectives. I'd encourage you to consider approval of them with that directive included in your motion, as opposed to withholding the approval until they're provided. Certainly, if when delivered, they require a change in what was actually adopted, you can do that. But I think having them established and then requesting that objectives be, measurables or reporting mechanisms be provided is probably the order I would recommend. Certainly, as an elected official, you may go in whatever direction pleases you, but giving clear direction and then allowing a reporting mechanism might be my suggestion.
Yeah, I like that. That's a possibility if we.
Mr. Riker wanted to add something to that comment, and then we'll go back to you.
Okay.
Mr. Riker?
So James and I have had some initial exchange as far as him participating with a follow-up with the development of those measurables.
Okay. Closing thoughts?
So can we update the motion to include those?
Yeah,
Once the motion's made, though.
You could modify your motion or add on to it.
But we didn't make the motion.
We didn't make a motion.
Oh, sorry, I thought you did.
My bad. Yeah,
So-
once again. So I will go ahead and make the motion that the fiscal year 2026-2027 goals and objectives be approved as presented with the direction that the city manager will assess measurables tied to them within a month.
I don't think so, man. We are in budget season. So I think you need to give me some, I think that's getting into the weeds a bit. I think you need to give me some latitude here.
I think the concern about approving them without a deadline is then, how
To
about?
finish up with the workshop.
Yeah, well, all right, at the end of the budget season, so when the workshops are over at the end of April, so by May, or June 1st.
Could we just modify that before the budget is approved?
Oh, that's fair.
I don't think it's wise to tie the budget approval to this additional document.
Well, that's my motion. Do I have a support and we can discuss?
Support.
Okay, and then we can discuss it. So this was your idea, and my bad for not waiting for the motion before the discussion happened, but go ahead and
Well, the second thing I was wondering, and it's not really something that you can answer, which, by the way, I really liked how you pulled us all together, had our ideas, and I think that was really well done. So I really appreciate that. I think the other thing that I was wondering is, how are we going to tie these into our budget this year? And are we going to be able to do that while we're working on the budget?
I mean, I don't think there's like direct tie-ins specifically. I mean, I could go back in and maybe identify where some could be specifically tied in, though I don't think that's the intent of this endeavor.
Are you trying to address the, for example, the item mentioned by the resident about the lighting not being a primary?
Yeah, there were some things that we spoke about in the workshop that actually had monies attached to it, which would be, maybe that would even be an easy way to tie in the measurables.
If I may?
Yes.
Only feedback from, experience and not directly with Clausen. I think at this point where you're in budget season and you're having workshops, it is fair to review the budget through the lens of these goals and objectives that you've approved or may approve this evening. I think that is fair both to ask of the administration and to do yourself as you're working through your workshops. I think the next step in your evolution towards this would be when you endeavor in your next budget process, so November, December of 2026, provide direction or work with administration that the budget process or the budget development be very clearly tied to the objectives in some form that you can review and see that alignment. I think at this late stage in your budget process and a requirement that you have a budget approved by a date certain, I'm not familiar with your charter, but I'm sure it's in May, prior to June 1st, that would be hard to directly tie. I think it's a lens. You should be asking questions that say, is this supportive of what we've said? But as a direct tie-in in the document, other than for it to be produced, I think that, in my opinion, might be a stretch in this time frame.
So can I ask you, I'm sure one of the comments you heard when we spoke to all of us individually was that we need things measurable. And so that's obviously a priority for all of us. What do you think would be a reasonable timeline for the council to expect measurables to come back to us?
I think the city manager's correct that in your budget process now, with multiple workshops coming up, I'm sure him and his staff are focused on that. And with your requirements to have that approved by a certain date, I think that you were working the math on a June 1st or beginning of your fiscal year. I think that's an appropriate timeline to say, have them back to us. And they may be in draft form for discussion and not final, but I think having that as a goal as allows the administration to work through, because most of their budget heavy lifting will be with you in the early workshops. The end parts of the document, they could switch to looking at this in terms of goals. So I would defer to your city manager who understands his workload better than I do. I just understand the crunch of budget season is very stressful for staff.
So you said something that clicked with me. What if I were to modify the motion to say draft by June 1st?
First meeting in June.
Got it. Deal. Sold. All right. So that's the motion as it stands.
Do we have to support that again with the modification?
So it was to approve the FY 2026-2027 goals and objectives be approved as presented with the draft of the measurables to be presented at the first meeting in June of 2026.
Support.
All right, that's what it was. I was just restating it. I go to my right now, Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke.
Nothing from me. I'm good with that.
Councilmember Peltonen.
No, I don't have anything to object. I really enjoyed reading this and going.
And I'll circle back. You were done, right?
I'm done.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to thank you. I think that you did a great job. Having you was a great asset, so I really appreciate that you were able to be with us and be part of the process. We were all tired and cranky, but it was a fun night, the night we did the goals. And so you brought a lot of value to the table, and I really appreciate everything that you did for us.
Thank you, and thank you all for your full engagement, both in the pre-process and the evening of. It's a lot. Being an elected official for any community is a lot. You certainly have additional meetings, and that time is recognized. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Roll call, please.
Counselor Slawinski,
Yes.
Counselor Spishak,
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
Mayor Moffett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke,
Yes.
Councilmember Pelton.
Yes.
All right, we just approved the goals and objectives and set a date for the draft of the measurables to be presented. Moving on to item 9B, which is consideration of the special event request from the Clausen 4th of July Committee to conduct their 2026 annual event celebrating the 4th of July. Can I have a motion? I'm going to do it right this time.
Madam Mayor, I motion the special event application for the special event from the Clausen 4th of July Committee to conduct their 2026 annual event celebrating the 4th of July with the following conditions be approved. 4th of July Committee shall obtain and provide the necessary certificates of liability insurance for the event. All participants and vendors shall execute a hold and harmless identification, agreement. All food vendors and any vendors presenting a higher level risk shall provide a certificate of insurance naming the city of Clausen as an additional insured.
Support.
Who wants to read this? Mr. Riker, you want to read this?
The Clausen 4th of July Committee is again making preparations for the annual 4th of July celebration. The attached letter serves as a formal request to review and approve the current plans for the upcoming events. The 4th of July Committee met with key city staff to discuss the event, ensure that all parties are in agreement on how to have a safe and fun event. The 4th of July Committee and the city will continue to engage in ongoing conversations to make sure all necessary services are properly communicated, coordinated, and conducted. The theme this year is Clausen Celebrates America's 250th Birthday. Both Mike Paquette and Pam Weaver from the 4th of July Committee are present to discuss this year's events and answer questions if needed. It is recommended to approve the request for the 4th of July Committee with the conditions noted.
Mr. Paquette and Mrs. Weaver, if you would like to join us at the podium, we'd love to have you. And before you start, hello, welcome. I just want to note that the 4th of July is on a Saturday this year, and the 3rd of July is on a Friday. And it's misprinted on the document that you sent, and it led to an argument with my neighbor. So.
And that was probably me that did that, too. I'm sorry.
No, that was all. I just want to make it clear, 4th of July,
I don't
Saturday,
want a riled up
3rd of July,
neighborhood.
Friday. But please, go ahead.
Fine. I guess we're done. If you have any questions, I'm here for it, but as far as the hold harmless, it's all over our website. Anybody that makes any kind of an application has to sign that. And we also will have paper ones so that last minute entrance will be there. A lot of times it's for the arts and craft people. We will definitely have that for them to sign as well.
So you say it's on the website, so when they fill out their application to participate, they check, I agree.
At the bottom of whatever you're doing, let's say you're applying for something on the parade. At the bottom, you have to sign it, and there will also be the paragraph that talks about the hold harmless. It's all over our website, all over the place.
Cool.
And as far as Michelle and I and Joe have had numerous meetings about making sure that our insurance is all in place, which I've done every year anyway. We've always had the City of Clausen and the 4th of July Committee as additional insured. It's been that way as long as I've been doing this. So we just have had, I think there's been a little bit more money that has been wanted from the insurance companies, which is no problem.
Okay.
We just do it anyway. We also have a directors and officers insurance policy. And with that, we also insure like the parade company when they bring their floats in. They're bringing 3 floats this year that I'm pretty sure it's 3 floats. So they'll be doing that. So we have to supply them with our own insurance to them. So this is a back and forth thing that we've been going at for quite a while. And there's also more than one insurance, people that request insurance from us, not just you guys as being held, not accountable, so.
So, and I assume the city council will be once again invited to participate in the parade as they have in past years.
Absolutely, and you will be signing a hold harmless. As you will be walking through the parade.
Awesome. Well, I will
So-
connect with you to make sure that happens. And it's always been an issue of consternation in the past, but I'm looking forward to all of us being there in the parade together, although you're getting married the weekend before, but. Okay. And is all the regular stuff, the dime toss game and all the regular carnival stuff that we all love?
Yes, definitely. The dime tosses, we believe they're going to be moved over to the arts and crafts area. So that's a very popular Lions Club situation. And you go home with plenty of glassware that you will not need, and but you'll try to give it to someone else at
Yeah,
times.
I've lived in my house for 34 years. I've never bought a glass. I've always just wondered.
You don't have to. And they're definitely not matched, but you
Oh,
do
they're
try to
not-
get
not
the
at all.
matches
They say
when you're
Red
tossing.
Robin and all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
All right, I'll be quiet. Councilmember Tinlin, questions, comments?
No, that's my life highlight of walking in the parade, so thank you. I'll get a chance to do it again, so I'm good.
Awesome.
Nothing for me. I'm excited.
No, it seems like this is a lot of work, and you do it every year really well, so I just wanted to say thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Mayor
Nothing
Pro Tem
from me.
Rourke?
I really appreciate the shuttle. I think that helped a lot as someone who's been dealing with that a lot. So glad to see that happening again. Yeah.
We did that. I noticed that was not on our website for parking and stuff like that.
That
but-
we add though as we go along, as
Right.
things get closer, because we're still determining a drop-off spot by the park.
Yes,
Yeah.
that will be determined through the chief of police as well as Joe. We're working out those details as to drop-off, pickup. We know they're going to be picked up at the Clausen Center. We had 4 of the limousine-style buses last year, all air-conditioned and very well-run. The route was, we took off from there, went down 14-mile road, turned right on Elmwood, went back up Bywood. The only issue, which I knew was going to be, was leaving. You got 40,000 people leaving all at once. So, as soon as the fireworks go off, everyone's, trying to get home and all that good stuff, so. And because it is a semi-quincentennial year, we are really pushing for the whole, 250, which is nice. It is all over our website as far as all of our events that we have going on, and you can go to that. I will let Pam take over for a minute, if you don't mind, before you do your vote.
No, please.
I'm actually going to be addressing volunteerism here. So first of all, I would like everybody to know what our website is, because you can go on there to volunteer for different things, which I'll talk about quickly here. Our website is clausen4thofjuly.com, and that's with the number 4, TH. So we're asking that everybody go there to make sure they're looking for the up-to-date information about the events and the parking and the shuttles. Volunteer sign-ups are done there as well. We have about 15 volunteers year-round that provide, I think, the best 4th of July celebration around. And it brings about 20,000 people through our gates, and about 45,000 people watch our really spectacular, wonderful fireworks. We need a total of approximately 175 volunteers to make this happen. And we use about 35 for the parade. I am in charge of gates. I need over 80 people to man 2 days of gates. And those 2 things actually that people can sign up for, it's about 2-hour shifts, and we're encouraging everybody, including city council, if you can come, to sign up. That's about 2 hours. And then we also need about 60 people for the 3 races that we run for the 2 days that they're run. We are, for the first time, really putting a volunteer campaign together based on the We Want You Uncle Sam logo, and you're going to see banners, and also we're asking businesses to post or hand out flyers. You might see signage around town as well. We are asking that you go to the website. It's real easy. You just go on there. You're going to go to the We Need You column. It's a blue logo. Scroll down and you'll see click to sign up to volunteer. And you get to pick the time and the date that works for you. We've got to fill 2 days of gates, obviously. And we're just asking for our little city with the big heart to come out to volunteer and help celebrate our 250th birthday.
I know back in the day when my boys were young and we were involved in Scouts, the Scouts, we worked the race a couple times. Should organizations just contact you directly if they have groups like that want to volunteer as a group, or?
Well, it's Dave Thompson that does the race, but yeah, they can go on there and just go under like the races and put in information. We'll ask them to put information for contacts and things like that.
Yeah, for groups or whatever,
Yeah.
so you can coordinate groups. I don't know if groups still do that, but we did it back, like I said, when I was involved in
Yeah,
Boy
and I think
Scouts back in the day.
he's got quite a few connections as far as the races go, but we definitely need those kind of groups as far as the gates and things for sure. Yeah. As long as they're like high schoolers or
Yeah, high schoolers
older.
or, whatever, like I
Right,
said,
yeah.
when we were in Boy
Yeah.
Scouts, we did it, but.
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's a lot, and really our biggest challenge is volunteering.
And it's
So-
tough because we all are excited to live here and we have everyone
Exactly.
here. But
Yeah, and all we're asking, 2 hours, 2 hours.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I'm going to echo, thank you so much for all the work you do. It is my favorite day in the city. It's what
Yeah,
everyone
mine
knows
too.
us for, being the 4th of July city. And so but it takes a lot of work. And so we'll all consider doing our part to do what we can.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Alec. He's been showing up at our meetings and, helping out with things that need to be helped. So,
Alex everywhere, so.
Yeah, he is everywhere. I walked in, I was like, oh, because I don't live in the city, actually, so.
He's going to be like our mascot.
Don't sleep.
He's everywhere.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the presentation and your time. If there's no more questions, roll call, please.
Councilmember Spisak,
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
Mayor Moffett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke,
Yes.
Councilmember Peltman,
Yes.
Councilmember Slawinski.
Yes.
All right. Well, we have just approved the special event request for the 4th of July to conduct the 2026 4th of July extravaganza.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so much.
See you all soon.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Next item, 9C, consideration to host a discussion on the financial impacts of FY 26-27 budget discussions held between the city administration and department heads. Motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to host discussion on the financial impacts from the fiscal year 26-27 budget discussions held between the administration and the city council.
Support.
Give that one to Pelton. Just to spread it out. Mr. Reichert?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Considerable advance progress has been made on the FY 26-27 budget thanks to cooperative discussion between City Council, City Administration, and department heads. City Council met with department heads on March 31st. During those discussions, department leadership explained what their needs and requests would be for the coming fiscal year. In advance, myself and the finance director met with each department head to ensure all requested items were considered. All requests have been included with an impact that will require the city to spend approximately $82,384 of our general fund balance for the year. In summation, we are intentionally spending some fund balance in the general fund to support the requests as previously discussed. The general fund will end 2026-2027 fiscal year with a fund balance estimated at $3.1 million. All other funds will also end with a healthy or manageable fund balance. The administration wishes to proceed with finalizing the budget, taking these requests from the discussions into account. Additionally, we seek your perspective on this financial analysis and welcome constructive discussion with the intent that a consensus can be reached.
And I believe we have, yeah, you know it, Mr. Pollock. Before I open the floor for questions, do you have anything you want to?
Just, this is the time of year where numbers start coming fast and furious, trying to finalize Headley millage rollback. We should be able to finalize possibly tomorrow. And then all the other numbers that go into creating the budget. So, and then when you get the draft budget at the next council meeting, I'll also have all of your narrative, which I think is extremely helpful for council because it kind of lays out what's in it and what the numbers represent. We should have that done for you to review, and that generally stimulates additional questions. But that's where we're at right now. Like I said, this time, in fact, I think 3 numbers today we were just able to work on to get finalized. So, but yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with Councilmember Peltonen. Do you have any questions about the budget?
Not specifically.
No?
Like one, no.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke.
Well, I guess it was just kind of the same of, so we will be able to still have some of our, like, will we not be able to look at our goals and objectives with this budget, or we're saying that will be for later?
Well, we've approved our goals and objectives. We just don't have the measurables of how we're going to determine if those have been met. But I guess the mindset is that as we look at the things that we're allocating money for and prioritizing in the budget based on the presentations and whatnot, we want to make sure that we're allocating funds so that we can, so we don't want to like set a goal and objective for them to do something and they go, but no, you can't have any money for that, right? We want to make sure that we set them up to be successful, that if it requires money or whatever, that's in the budget.
Right, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke.
I guess I'm just trying to understand like the purpose of this. Like, is this just a socialization of like before the, draft budget comes? Because like, I'd like to see
Yes,
the
we
draft budget
kind-
before making any, discussions
Right.
amongst us.
Yeah.
But
I know since City Manager Raker brought me back 3 years ago, we've kind of worked on something that seems to work as far as communication goes between council, administration, department heads, and residents to get to this point. So as we have a pre-brief, and this is kind of a presentation, a socialization is a good phrase, to let you know this is what we took everything the department's heads presented to you on March 31st and put it into this initial, I won't even call it a draft because there's a lot of numbers that are still going to go in. But when you get the draft budget at your next council meeting, all of those items will be referenced in a narrative, which will go with the draft budget. And then the hope will be if a workshop generally happens where there's more discussion and input questions, and then we'll finalize the budget for you at some point in May. So you'll have the final document. But yeah, there's still additional input that will happen.
okay. And like historically, does deliberation happen on these items at this portion, or is that
Generally not now, but I mean, again, if there's something you're not sure of that you would like answered, I mean, Joe and I can certainly answer those for you.
No, I didn't have any questions. I was just curious what step this was in the
The
process.
sooner you have questions and the sooner you ask them, the better it is for all of us.
Yeah, if you'd have questions that we might need to go back and review before we can give you a solid answer, you can certainly ask those now. But at some point, the goal is we will get your questions answered.
Okay, that was all I had.
Councilmember Slawinski.
So I did have a couple questions. One of them was when we were talking about the fire department, and we talked about this in the meeting, but I didn't see it in this information that we have. And that was the $250 per firefighter for their paycheck and stipend.
Right.
And we asked the question, is that times 25 per paycheck and then times 25 per stipend?
Yeah,
Can you
that-
clarify?
Yeah, the chief attempted to present that there's a $250 addition to their annual expense check per firefighter, so times 25, which I believe is $6,250.
Yep.
And then in their stipend pay, additional $250 per firefighter, which is an additional $6,250. So all told, it's $12,500 total, in addition to their stipend, I guess, if you call it that. I think that's where the confusions come in over the years, is their pay is a stipend that they used to receive quarterly, now receive annually. He's asking for a $250 per firefighter for the year increase. Then their annual expense, which they utilize for the department, also per firefighter asking for an additional $250.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't clear. And then when I didn't see it in here, I understand now because you'll put it in, it'll be in the
Yeah.
narrative and in the draft
Exactly. You'll
budget.
see it in the
Okay.
numbers and you'll see it in the narrative.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then the other question that I had with that was last year they did a pension multiplier for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be for the next 2 years.
Right.
That will also be in the narrative?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the increase in the pension contribution is in the current year budget and will be in again next year.
Okay. Thank you. That's all the questions that I had.
Okay. Councilmember Spishak?
No questions for me. Thank you for the presentation. Everything looked good.
And wrapping it up with Councilmember Tinlin.
Just a little bit. Now I'll just wait for the draft Budget Act to be received, and then I'll send out my questions in advance before the next meeting as well. So my favorite time of year, I love budgets, so thank you.
And one thing I will mention is the mayor requested and council agreed and administration agreed is we will do our best to show how we come up with the water and sewer rates.
I'm so excited.
You might be the only one. So
Usually am.
if we sent you to the drain board meetings that they present and where they go over the math and the stuff that's way over everyone's head, you would say, I never want to see this again. So, but I can show how we come up with the rates.
I think that'll be really valuable. As we all know, that's one of the things that we hear constantly, we don't understand why. And so I think that's the foundation of the discussions going forward, understanding how the calculation, how we get there. I think that'll be really valuable.
Yeah, and there is a lot involved in it, and I know we say a lot, we do a pass-through. Our goal is to try and make the pass-through manageable, and in some years, again, we're trying to, we would love to be able to freeze rates or change rates, but the move is toward more fixed costs on the sewer and water side, which will make it better, I think, in the long run for everyone, because, you know, higher consumption, I guess you're not necessarily penalized, but they're trying to get a certain dollar figure, and they estimate rate sales to the city, SACWA does, and they're coming in short every year because people are conserving more water. So if they make more on a fixed cost, it makes it so that our consumption rate can be either the same or lowered, so.
It'll be good. I've said it before, like, as long as I've been here, I've always asked you questions, and I always felt like I understood in the moment, but walked away and just couldn't wrap my brain around it. So if we can see the work, I think it's going to be great. So thank you for being willing to do that and the work that's going to go into making that happen. So, and this was just a discussion, so we don't have to vote on anything. If everyone's questions have been answered, we can move on. Thank you so much. All right, now we have another discussion. Item 9D is discussion of establishing workshop dates for the upcoming 26-27 budget. Do I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to host discussion on establishing workshop dates for the upcoming years of 2026-27 budget.
Second. Second.
Who got that one? Spishak? Oh, Pelton it again? All right. All right. Mr. Riker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Having just heard the budget pre-brief, the council is reminded that the budget will be presented at the next council meeting on April 21st. The mayor and members of council are all available for the following dates for budget workshops: Wednesday, April 22nd, Thursday, April 23rd, Tuesday, April 28th, Wednesday, April 29th, Wednesday, May 6th, and Thursday, May 7th. Once council is satisfied with the budget, the need for workshops or any remaining workshops can be canceled. If necessary or desired, we could host a budget discussion during the May 5th regular city council meeting.
So are some bolded in this statement just to differentiate them from the one next to them versus favored dates or anything like that? Okay, gotcha. Any discussion on those? Mr. Tinlin, Councilmember Tinlin.
It's a rarity. Usually my schedule is very flexible, but I got international travel on March 28th, 29th, and 30th. So those are the only days I can't be available.
So no 28th?
Yep.
And he said 29th.
Or 29th.
29th or 30th, yep.
So no
Any
28th
of the other
or
dates,
29th.
I'm good.
All right. And I know we'll do our best to accommodate that, but if we have to, we would 1, 2, 3, 4, we still have a quorum, so, okay. Councilmember Spisak,
I can make any of those dates work?
because you're everywhere all the time. You're like Batman.
Yep.
All right, Councilmember Slawinski,
Yeah, same. I'm available
right.
on those dates.
Same.
same. Councilmember Peltonen.
Yep. And do we have like just an estimated time for each one? Like,
However long you guys want it.
so they could be.
So, if we could, I know that we've been starting these workshops at 6 o'clock, and that seems to be a little stressful for some of our council members. Can we shoot for 6:30 instead of 6 o'clock for these? Does that work for,
I would prefer 6:30.
you would prefer 6:30? It's kind of a compromise between the, just so that, because I know that we've sat there going, are we going to have a quorum? Are we going to have a quorum? Are we going to have a quorum? So, any other discussions, thoughts, comments? Closing thoughts, Mr. Riker, you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking you should make a motion, at least for one. I'm thinking Thursday, April 23rd possibly would be the best, because the budget's going to be before you the 21st. Either one of those, actually, April 22nd, 23rd, there's not going to be any change between the meeting and us having a workshop. And then you always have May 5th if we need to.
Oh, I thought we just had to be available for all these days, and you would just tell us when you wanted us to show up, but that's how I thought it was.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
But if
pick
you
the
want us
date.
to lock in like the next time that we're definitely going to meet, and which one did you say you wanted?
I'm amicable to any of them, but I would say Wednesday, April 22nd or April 23rd, front load things, and if
Okay.
whatever reason you guys have a need for additional meetings, but I would definitely put the 22nd or the 23rd on there for you, knowing that May 5th, we can bat cleanup on it if we need to. And
Okay.
also, if anyone has questions in advance, we've made ourselves available, and we have met with individual council members in the past when their either need for additional information or their schedule didn't work.
All right, so I'll make the motion that we schedule a budget workshop. I'm going to say we schedule budget workshops on Wednesday, April 22nd, and Thursday, April 23rd, to start at 6:30 PM.
Support.
Pardon?
I said an end indefinitely.
That's
As
right.
long as needed.
6:30 PM to AM.
Well, that's why the socializing of this is so important. So you're getting like the aggregate outcome up front. And if you have like an issue with the, spending a fund balance or anything in particular, you can focus on that a little bit more in advance, and we can get you the information, make you more comfortable. And you've been part of the process, and we don't run you up against a deadline. And everyone should be happy and comfortable when the budget is before them, and we move on.
All right, so there's a motion on the table. I'm going to look this way. Any discussions? Everyone's excited. This way. Everyone's super excited over here. All right, hearing no discussion, let's have a roll call.
Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
Mayor Moffett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke,
Yes.
Councilmember Peltonen,
Yes.
Councilmember Slawinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Spisak.
Yes.
All right, we have just approved budget workshops for Wednesday, April 22nd, and Thursday, April 23rd, starting at 6:30. Be there or be square. Moving on to item 9E, which is consideration of awarding the bid to the lowest qualified bidder, D'Angelo Brothers, Inc., at 30836 8 Mile, Farmington Hills, for the North Chocolate Avenue, Goodale Court, and Leroy Avenue Water Main Replacement Project.
Madam Mayor, I move the bid for the North Chocolate Avenue and Goodale Court and Leroy Avenue Water Main Replacement Project to D'Angelo Brothers Incorporated at 30386 8 Mile Road, Farmington Hills, Michigan, 48336, for the bid amount of $1,288,946.18. In addition, we recommend that a 10% construction contingency of $128,808 89462 also be approved for the unforeseen conditions for the total award amount to be $1,417,84080, be approved as presented.
Support.
All right. Is this a Nick thing or Mr.?
AEW prepared plans and specifications for the North Chocolate Avenue, Goodale Court, and Leroy Avenue water main replacement project. The project consists of replacing 2,606 lineal feet of 8-inch ductile iron water main and 73 lineal feet of 6-inch ductile iron water main and related items of work on North Chocolate Avenue between Broadacre Avenue and West Selfridge Boulevard, Goodale Court between Lerner Avenue and Roth Boulevard, and Leroy Avenue between North Bywood Avenue and North Custer Avenue. The water main will be replaced using horizontal directional drill and open cut installation methods. The city received 8 bids on Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. The low bidder was D'Angelo Brothers with a bid of $1,288,946.18. The recommendation is repetitive of the motion, so I'll spare everyone.
All right. Trevor? So, before I open the floor for questions, I know there's been discussion in the past, but I'm going to have you repeat it again. Talk to me about the contingency amount and how that would potentially get spent or not spent.
It all depends on what they find when they start digging.
So it's not, they have to submit change orders.
Correct.
And that amount is just so that you don't have to keep coming back to us. It's not an amount they automatically get. It's not an amount that doesn't have to be justified. It just gives you cushion in the budget so you don't have to attend meetings going forward.
That is correct. So the difference between a road project and a water main project. The road project, they're ripping up the whole road. There's a lot of things you can come across and you don't know are there. A water main like this is a little different. Obviously, with that Rochester Road, we did come across something that we didn't see. But another part of this is also lead services. If we come across lead services, which we do the legwork ahead of time, but we still could come across some that we didn't know were there, they need to be replaced. That's going to come at a cost.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So that's a factor to it as well.
Yes.
All right.
We don't anticipate a lot of those in this.
But you never know. Once you start digging stuff up,
Right.
what you're going to find, right? Questions? Councilmember Tinlin.
No, none.
You're not on the ball tonight.
None of the questions on piping and stuff, I guess, right?
It's exciting stuff. Councilmember Spishak.
None for me.
Councilmember Slowinski.
No questions tonight for me.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke.
Also all set.
Councilmember Peltonen.
Echo all of their statements. No questions.
All right. Well, I appreciate you giving the explanation on the contingency so that everybody's comfortable with that.
I appreciate you guys not asking more questions.
Right. If there's no other questions, we can have a roll call, please.
Mayor Moffett?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke?
Yes.
Councilmember Pelton?
Yes.
Councilor Swinski?
Yes.
Councilor Spishak?
Yes.
Councilor Tinlin?
Yes.
All right. We have just approved awarding the bid for the project on North Chocolate, Goodale Court, and Leroy Avenue to D'Angelo Brothers. Moving on to item 9F, it's consideration of the second reading of ordinance number 788. This is the, okay. 788 to amend the Clawson Code of Ordinance, Chapter 34, Article 10, Section 3.1.K.2, Section 3.1.M.2, and Section 4.47, Section 4.29, Section 3.1.P.2, Section 4.39, and Section 4.42.
Madam Mayor, I move the second reading of ordinance number 788 to amend Chapter 34, Article 10, Section 3.1.K to permit duplexes in the CMD district, Section 3.1.M to permit additional uses in the BRD1 district, Section 3.1.P to permit veterinary clinics in the I-1 district, Section 4.29, to remove the separation standard for veterinary clinics, Section 4.39, to remove separation standards for indoor recreation uses, Section 4.42, to reduce separation standards for auto repair uses and provide for greater screening to residential uses, and repeal Section 4.47 be approved.
Support.
All right, Nick. Yes?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this is a second reading of this ordinance, and as the motion does kind of include everything that this amendment is making, I can answer any questions that you have, but nothing's changed from the first reading. We had a good discussion, and there weren't a ton of questions, but if anything's come up since then, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, I'm going to look to my right. Any questions this way?
No.
To my left? No questions. Let's do roll call.
Mayor Potem Rourke,
Yes.
Councilmember Peltman,
Yes.
Councilmember Slawinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Spisak,
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
and Mayor Moffitt.
Yes. All right, we have just approved the second reading of ordinance 877 with all of its three-part harmony. Moving on to item 9G is consideration of first reading of the ordinance to amend Clausen Code of Ordinance, Chapter 66, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places, Article 2, Construction, Repair, and Excavations, Division 1, generally, Section 66-45, construction vehicle routes, to regulate construction vehicle routes within the city of Clausen to establish conditions for the use of designated routes, establish enforcement, and to prescribe penalties therein.
Need a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move the first reading of an ordinance to amend the Clausen Code of Ordinances, Chapter 66, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places, Article 2, Construction, Repair, and Evacuations, Division 1, generally Section 66.45, Construction Vehicle Routes, to regulate construction vehicle routes within the city of Clausen, to establish conditions for the use of a designated route, establish enforcement, and to prescribe penalties there be approved.
Support.
Mr. Riker.
This ordinance was first presented to the City Council during the March 17th meeting. During that discussion, it was recommended to modify some of the requirements that were first presented, but still implement clear enforceable framework governing the use of city streets by heavy construction vehicles. Under the proposed ordinance, developers and contractors would be required to obtain city engineer approval of a designated haul route prior to the commencement of any significant construction activity. Participation in a pre-construction meeting, execution of a haul route agreement, and the posting of financial assurances for road repairs would all be conditions of permit issuance. The ordinance further authorizes the city to erect route signage at the developer's expense, provides a written violation notification process, and establishes civil infraction penalties and stop work authority for repeated noncompliance.
So I have two questions. So under definitions, applicant is changed. It says applicant means any person, firm, or corporation, developer, contractor, or other entity that applies for or holds a site plan approval or other city authorization for construction activity. I'm gathering that that was tried to, because we were concerned about it being like the average person.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but does the authorization for construction activity include a permit? Like, for example, like when I got my fence repaired a couple of years ago, the fence company had to go get a permit.
No, ma'am, because this speaks to the site plan, right? The site plan removes that and places the onus on commercial and or large-scale residential.
But it does say or city authorization for construction activity. It says
Right,
or.
because it follows, right? The authorization permit follows the site plan.
So, okay, so it's only city authorization as it relates to a site plan, not permits. Okay.
Yes, the site, the permit
Okay.
follows the site plan approval, obviously. Everybody still, after the site plan is approved, comes to the city and gets permits.
Okay.
Right? So that's why.
Oh, so I see what you're saying. You have to get, so anything that requires you to have a site plan, then you have to get a permit, but the permit's moot in this, as far as this is concerned, because the site plan rules
Yes,
the
ma'am.
day.
Yes,
Is what you're
ma'am.
saying. Okay. Nick, when we met last time and discussed this, you were going to investigate the hours of operation for construction?
Yes, and that is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
Ah, nice. Okay, good to know. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday?
Correct.
And no construction on Sundays?
Correct. Now, if there's commercial projects or some of our own residential road projects, if they are going to work on Sunday, they just have to request approval from DPW. Now, it varies whether it's approved or not, but generally speaking, most work is done Monday through Friday anyway.
Oh, because I remember a while back, we got some emails from someone expressing concern over work on Sundays. And so if they want to work on Sundays, do they have to request a particular Sunday, or can they say, hey, we need Sundays throughout the project? How does that work?
Particular Sundays.
Particular Sundays.
And if it's every single Sunday, I really find it hard to believe it's a commercial project. But if it's for one of our own infrastructure projects, we would have that identified at the pre-construction meeting that we have with the contractor.
Interesting. And so if it were to happen in the future again, where a resident was like, hey, they're doing construction on Sunday, there would be no way to know if they got approval for that until they complained, or does the police department know who has approval to work on Sundays, or how does that work?
They should. I would always recommend contacting non-emergency dispatch to have them go on site to investigate. That way, we can get documentation that there was work going on, and then the next work day we're in the office, they can follow up with code enforcement and the DPW to address that.
And that's what it would be. If they did it without getting approval, there would be some sort of citation for a code violation?
Yes.
Cool. All right. That concludes my questions. Let's mix it up. Councilmember Slawinski.
I have no questions.
Councilmember Spisak.
No questions.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke.
Also no questions.
Councilmember Peltzman.
Same. No questions.
All right, bringing up the tail end, Councilmember Tinlin.
Well, just one, so when we're talking site plan, Nick, are we just talking, those site plans are going through the planning commission, or would those also be approved by the city engineering department?
So site plan is anything approved by the planning commission.
Okay.
But the way this reads is it does allow some flexibility to enforce that if needed. So if there's a larger scale couple residential homes being built in one area, we can use this to have them follow the certain pathway to get from a main road to the construction site.
Okay. No, I just, because, I was concerned about the impact of residents as well, but if it's going through the planning commission, for example, for the majority of the time, that's a nice administrative control. Okay. All right,
Yes.
that's my only question.
And again, I would say 90+% of our properties are along a major road to begin with, but it'll at least allow us to talk to developers to ensure that their contractors aren't driving down our side streets or idling, waiting to do a delivery or something. So it'll be an important piece we add to our pre-construction meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no other questions, roll call, please.
Councilmember Pelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Slawinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Spisak,
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
Mayor Moffett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke.
Yes.
All right, we have just approved the first reading of the ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 66, and all that other stuff. Next item on the agenda is item 9H, consideration of accepting the resignation from Councilmember Rinkovich.
Madam Mayor, I move to accept the resignation of Heather Rinkovich from City Council as of today.
Support.
Support. So over the weekend, we did receive a note from Councilmember Rinkovich that she's made the difficult decision to resign her position. And so in order to have that resignation be accepted and solidified, we do need to vote on it. And that's all we're doing here is a procedural, accepting that resignation so that we can move forward on filling the seat. Any discussion, any other comments anyone wants to make?
Do I have to include in the motion the discussion on the next steps, or no?
We have another
All right, we got another
item for that.
Okay,
Yep,
sorry.
yep.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem took care of that.
I just had one technicality. You said effective, I think, today, and her email said effective for,
But we're accepting it today.
Oh, okay, so.
Even though she dated
that's
it
good.
on
Okay,
Saturday.
Okay.
So today would be when it was finalized.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
All right, well, I guess before we take our vote, since we're talking about it, I want to thank her for her service and wish her all the best. And I hope she continues her advocacy because there's things in the city that could use her attention going forward. And so we just wish her all the best and thank her for everything she's done so far.
Well, then I was going to say something during council comments, so I will, while we are, I just really thank Councilmember Rinkovich for her dedication to the community of Clawson as a whole, and she cares for so many people, and I feel that we are at a big loss having her not up here, but I understand that it is probably in her best interest, so I am very reluctant to accept.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Slowinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Spisak,
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
Mayor Moffett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke,
Yes.
Councilmember Pelton.
Yes.
All right, we have accepted the resignation from Councilmember Heather Rinkovich. Our next item added to the agenda, item 9I, is to have a discussion on how we will fill the now vacant seat, with a reminder that we have to, by charter, do so within 30 days. So if I can have a motion for the discussion?
Madam Mayor, I motion to have discussion on the replacement and appointment of the vacant city council seat.
Support.
All right, so wash, rinse, repeat. We did this just not that long ago, and I think the process worked fairly well, but I think we need to, because we have all these budget meetings and whatnot to fit into the process, so we need to talk about if we want to do the same thing where we would accept applications and then whittle it down and interview people, if that's sort of the general consensus of what we want to do, then I think it's real important, and I'm going to look at a calendar here, that we set a timeline that works for the city clerk to accept applications. So, and I'm going to write these down because then we can make a motion on it. So, and what does everyone think? Like a week and a half, this by did we cut off on Wednesday or Thursday last time so you could prepare for the council, the subsequent council meeting?
I think that depends on when you want to, when we are going to meet on it. The next council meeting is the 21st, so if we accept applications through the 15th, that's giving you a week. It's not a lot of time, but you are, like you said, you're on a time restraint here. So if we do it, we receive the applications by Wednesday. You could say by 5 o'clock Wednesday. Thursday's the day that we prepare the packet information, so we could have, I'm assuming you're going to do it at the next council meeting.
Well,
that's my assumption, but.
And that's fair. And I just want to put in front of me the dates that we picked, and we picked the 22nd and the 23rd to factor in here. So the only concern that I have is that last time we were filling a vacant seat, we were coming off of an election, so there are a lot of people engaged, and I think we need a lot of time to sort of socialize the need and get it out there. So I'm going to just throw out there, because we have 30 days from, it starts counting on tomorrow. Mr. Nusha, is that correct? 30 days starts counting tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am. We start counting tomorrow.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So May 7th is our D-Day. I guess, so I'm just throwing up my idea, and everybody's going to weigh in. I'm imagining us having a little longer time to accept applications, and then perhaps having a quick special meeting thrown in there where we're just going to identify our 3 candidates that we want to interview, and then maybe doing, we would have to have a special meeting for interviews, and then selecting our final person with the goal of selecting our final person on or about May 7th. So anyone else have, Mr. Tinlin, do you have, Councilmember Tinlin, I'm so sorry. Do you have a idea of like if we were to open it up farther, I'm rambling, someone
Yeah.
else jump in here.
So if we can do, and keep the application period open a little bit longer and have a special meeting, we maybe could make a decision on, there's the next actual city council meeting's May 5th, correct?
21st is next, but then.
Then the next one, so, but that'll still be under the 30-day window. So if we wanted to keep the application times open more to make sure we have a proper number of candidates, maybe use a special meeting to do that interview process.
What if we were to do this?
Okay.
Since we're going to meet, we have the 23rd earmarked as a time to meet for a workshop. What if on the 23rd, before we start the workshop, we have a quick meeting to pick our candidates, our 3 candidates, and then you're out of town, what'd you say, the 20?
Unfortunately, yeah, the 28th, 29th, and 30th, I'll be out of
Okay,
town.
so then, if we pick our candidates on the 23rd, have a special council meeting on the 27th for interviews, and then on the 5th, we would be in a position to identify.
And I'll correct myself, I'm going to be out on the 27th. I leave on the Saturday, and I'll be out of country for 4 days. So Monday, I won't be here either. I apologize. 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. I land back in the United States on the 1st of May.
Okay, so, all right, then what if on Star Wars Day, May 4th, we have a special council meeting to interview that gives us overnight to think about who we want to identify and do that at the council meeting? Yes, sir?
To the city attorney, is there anything that's, in the city clerk, is there anything that's stopping us? We're having workshops. Could we simply add this as an agenda item and do a workshop, but not make any deliberations when they're making a decision? They could at least have the conversations. They could, on the 22nd, they could go over the applications. On the 23rd, they could have interviews.
I would feel a lot more comfortable for all of us if those were actual voting meetings as opposed to just workshops. I think the conversations, remembering the conversations that always have taken place and I imagine are going to take place at this juncture, to have that ability and it to be proper under the OMA is probably worth the extra added step of making it a voting meeting.
Because we're going to be making decisions on the
And I'm
3,
okay.
yeah.
Why don't we just use the same 2 days, use your idea of just having special meeting first and then have the workshop.
I'm fine with that. I didn't know if that would.
We're here
yeah.
already,
That's fine, so we could have convene the meeting, close the meeting, and start the workshop? Okay.
Absolutely.
So then we would do that on,
22nd and 23rd?
well, so to do the interviews, I mean, we need, if we identify 3 people, we need like an hour and a half for interviews. And so that really cuts into your workshop. So that takes us back to, well, okay, all right, I'm sorry. So if we, on the 23rd, have a meeting before to identify the candidates, and that gives us until your cutoff, Michelle, is the 21st. That would give us the cutoff on the 21st for applications. That gives us almost 2 full weeks of people to apply.
And would that be for the 22nd or the 23rd?
For the
that you would be
23rd,
reviewing?
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 21st is in play, so why don't you make that an agenda item, say, I'm
That's a
going to
meeting
move
night.
these 3 people, and you could just simply say, let's move it forward for the 22nd for interviews, because you have on the 21st,
21st is the meeting.
you could deliberate and pick who you want. The 22nd, you could do interviews at a special meeting.
Because
If
to
you want.
have it on the 22nd, we'd have to cut off applications on the 15th. And I don't think that's enough time, given, I want to give the extra time. So if we do 2 weeks, cut off applications on the 22nd, so that you can organize them, prepare them for presentation of the meeting on the 23rd. And then, again, special meeting on the 4th for interviews and decision on the 5th.
I think the last time when you did this, we copied what happened with the vacancy for the previous council member from the previous council, And we did roughly, I want to say it was 10 days, and we replicated that, and what we came up with was everyone that participated in the election. I'm not necessarily sure you're going to find
Well,
a wider.
That's my point, is because the election is so far behind us, people aren't engaged, people don't know that this happened, so we have to socialize the need, get the word out there, and give people plenty of time to apply. Let me, Councilmember Tinlin, Councilmember Spishak, I'm proposing cut off the 21st, identifying candidates on the 23rd, interviews on the 4th, and decision on the 5th. Thoughts?
That works for me.
If council was okay with it, and to the clerk, we typically have all the information to everyone on Thursday. It's not to say that information can be updated between Thursday and Tuesday as far as any applicants are concerned. So you could take that all the way to the 21st if you want it and still act on it. Am I correct in saying that?
That's what I was going to suggest. I mean, we typically have the packet out on Friday, or on Thursday, so we would need them, ahead of that. But if you go 10 days, then you're giving them till the 16th?
I'm giving them till the 21st. Oh,
Well, no, that's what you're suggesting, but if we can do it, let's just say we receive them by the 16th, close of day. I mean, we could do earlier, say 3 o'clock. We will already have the information on hand, so we can kind of be just waiting for everything to come in by that close. We can even say noon on that day. However, we could put the packet out to you on Friday instead of Thursday for the 21st. So you can pick your candidates, because you're pushing this really close to, I mean, it seemed like last time, if I recall correctly, you interviewed and selected your candidate on the same night. That's how it happened. You actually made your appointment during that meeting.
but that was largely because the candidates were well-known, because we recently had the election. Like, everyone who was a candidate was someone who ran in the election. And now, my concern is that we need to cast a wider net, and we need to get a bigger pool of candidates and of people who may not know what's going on. And that's why I feel like opening it up till the 21st gives us time to, get the word out, gives us 2 full weekends to get the word out and talk to people at whatever events are going on, social media, whatever. We need to really get the word out that there's this need, because it's outside the election cycle. People aren't aware of the opportunity to serve. And so giving us 2 full weeks gives us that time to catch that net.
I would make the statement that if people aren't aware of what's going on, that maybe they're not the ones to be considered to be your next council member.
Well, I mean, we got beat up by some citizens about not engaging the people who didn't vote. So we want to tap into that group of community of people who may not necessarily be engaged, and this is our opportunity to do so. So, Councilmember Peltonen.
I like the idea of giving more time.
Okay.
So I think special interviews on the 4th is
All right.
fine with me.
So I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we solicit applications from the community, stipulating that applications need to be submitted by the 21st, that on April 23rd, prior to our workshop, we'll have a special meeting to identify the candidates to be interviewed. We'll have a special meeting on May 4th to interview the candidates, and then we will be able to select a candidate on May 5th, is my motion.
Support.
There's no other discussion. Roll call, please.
Hold on. May 4th was not one of the dates that you guys all said you were available.
Yeah.
From my notes, unless that's changed.
Is someone not available?
No,
on May
that's
4th?
only, I'll be back. That's, I arrive back in country on May 1st.
Said that wrong, Batman.
Yeah.
It's, I'll be back.
I'll be back. So,
You'll
I
be
think
back?
that was just when we were having the dialogue, right? So May
Okay.
4th could work.
May 4th is interviews.
Yeah, interviews, yes.
Everybody available May 4th? Okay.
Do we have to put the times in there too, or no?
6:30?
6:30?
6:30 works. I amend my motion to say 6:30 for all of the meeting dates identified. That was my motion.
Support.
Support? Okay. Roll call, please.
Just clarify, for the application deadline, you're saying the 21st? Are we saying close a day, or, you know?
What works for you? You tell me. Noon? I think you said noon last time?
I did say noon because we have to get a packet together, although we have a week in between this now, so it's not so pressing, because we now aren't doing anything that last week. So we could say, maybe we should say 4 o'clock.
Well, you need the
That way
packet.
We need the
before end
packet
of
You need the
day.
packet for the
Thursday.
23rd. So is that still time? Because we're doing the packet on the 23rd. We're having the meeting on the 23rd.
And
to-
you're saying close, so yes, well, we're gonna have to turn that around anyway. So let's say noon.
Noon on the
Because we're
21st.
gonna have to put together a special packet for you for that
For sure.
meeting. It won't be the normal. So
Right.
thanks
Okay,
for that, yeah. So we'll say noon.
okay, all right. So
I just wanted to clarify
one more
that.
time.
I can
Motion
do
on the
roll call.
table is applications due by noon on April 21st, meeting on April 23rd at 6:30 to identify the candidates to interviews on May 4th at 6:30, and decisions to be held on May 5th at the regularly scheduled city council meeting. Roll call.
Councilmember Spisak?
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin?
Yes.
Mayor Moffett?
Yes.
Mayor Potem Rourke? Yes. Councilmember Peltonen?
Yes.
Councilmember Slawinski?
Yes.
All right, we have just we've just approved our timeline for filling the recently opened city council seat. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business, consideration to discuss proposed council rules and procedures. We approved that last time. Do we,
Well, I'm sorry, that should never have made the cut. How
okay, I was wondering why it was there.
Pardon me, how did that,
That's
pardon me, how that ever even made the cut?
All right, well,
And no one called me on it either.
I thought that there was a purpose for it.
Test, everyone failed.
All right, so we don't need to do that, that's an error, and we will now open the floor for public comment to items not on the agenda. I'll once again remind you, if you will state your name and whether or not you're a resident of this fair city or a visitor, you'll be given 4 minutes to speak. This is not a back and forth, but any comments that you do make or questions that you raise, we'll try and answer during the next section where there is comments from the administration or the council. So anyone who wishes to speak, I invite you to the podium.
Okay, I'm going first. Joanne McCauley, 121 Renshaw, Clawson, Michigan, 64-year resident, by the way. I've had many thoughts how I want to do this tonight, and I want to talk about Renshaw. No kidding, huh? I have done some research, asked some questions, and I cannot find in the charter or anywhere who rules, regulates any discussion, any guidelines for Renshaw Apartments. It's wide open, okay? I'd like to address that further, and I will with email. I also want the public to know that in a fiscal year, if we are full, and we 90-some% we are, our rent payments are $88,740 in 1 year. I did have some people tell me that someone from the city has said it cost approximately $40,000 to maintain Renshaw, which to me would be lawn cutting, plowing, that kind of thing. I don't know what else would be in there. Probably insurance or whatever. Okay. The rest, I guess, I'm still researching, would go into our budget, which has gone up, but it also goes down with the budget, with what has been talked about that you're going to do there. Okay. We have been trying to get the gutters on our building cleaned out for at least 3, if not 4 years. At the budget meeting previous year, the DPW said they don't have the ladders to get up high enough. And that's where it went. That was all it went. Due to the gutters running over, I don't see anything coming out the downspouts. 3 or 4 windows have had to be replaced in that building. And I'm thinking that it is because of the rain coming down. You look around the building when it rains, it goes all over, except the gutters, the downspouts, I should say. That has never been done, and that has been asked for at least 3, if not 4 years. The city has been asked to do that, and I don't understand that. I also want the people of Clawson and City Council to understand that not $1 of their tax dollar goes into the support of us residents at Renshaw. It is all covered by our $88,000 a year. I've heard talk on that we don't want to support the seniors, and they definitely are not. There are a couple issues with Renshaw Apartment, one being the ADA. And I do have to say that we, over the 13 years, I'm in my 13th year that I've lived there, we have had 2 people in there with service dogs. I had one of the representatives from whatever group put them in there in my front room asking me questions. And we currently have an ADA recipient who carries a card for ADA living in our building. Okay. And from what I'm hearing, and if I'm wrong, you guys need to let me know. ADA is not, we are grandfathered, but if an addition, let's say, a major improvement is made, then we will have to step in the ADA requirements. And I don't see that being done, but that's what I'm understanding. Okay, and my last one is the lawsuits that have been talked about. It's a risk at Renshaw Apartments. It's a risk at any of the city buildings. Anybody could fall in a city building and put a lawsuit in. We are not the only building that has that. Mostly.
Time.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was almost done anyhow.
It was just a different,
I couldn't get it to work, so I started
I thought
a
that
timer.
there was another tornado warning or something.
No, that's okay.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to items not on the agenda?
Hi, Jamie Gills, Takanochi, Clawson resident. I just wanted to bring to your attention, I saw something on MLive today, and the Oakland County Planning Committee, one of their committees anyway, met today about grant money available or matching funds available to cities for road improvement. And I don't know all the details for it, but it was from the County Commission's Local Road Improvement Committee. I'm sorry, they're meeting tomorrow at 4:15. Then each city can apply for funding by June 3rd. We are on the list of cities it looks like that they have thought about. So just wanted to bring that to your attention in case nobody is aware of that. Maybe we can get some funds in for our roads.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to items not on the agenda? All right. Seeing no one moving, I'm going to go ahead and close public comments, and we will turn to the city clerk's report.
No report tonight.
All right. We'll turn to the city attorney's report.
Just one item, Madam Mayor, because there was a recent case and Nick brought it to our attention earlier today. and I think it behooves us talking. There was a recent case settled by or decided by the Court of Appeals that involved the city of Troy and the lawsuit that the Home Builders Association had triggered against them. This was litigation that lasted for about 15 years.
Wow.
Right. And the result today was that they were awarded, the Home Builders Association prevailed. They were awarded a $575,000 attorney fee and also a permanent injunction where the court held that under the Construction Code Act, fees that we charge, that the municipality would charge for permits and things of that nature had to be reasonably tied to the cost. And they could not generate a surplus. As a decision, it's a decision that will apply broadly throughout the state. Everything will be sort of on the line and will have to be reviewed. And so we've been speaking about this today, and we're going to do a review of our fee structure and the way that we do things, just so you know that that's something that's going to be percolating its way to you pretty soon.
Good times.
Nothing else, barring any questions.
Any questions? No? All right. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Construction update. Elmwood, remediation of cracks and defects along with the punch list items began today. Transitioning to Rochester Road, the water main portion of this project is complete. Reminder, this project is a new pipe and upgrade from a 6-inch to an 8-inch in conjunction with the road diet resurfacing. That will occur this spring, after which all restoration will be completed. We are still anticipating a mid-April start for the road diet portion of this project starting in Royal Oak. Communication and coordination will remain ongoing with the City of Royal Oak, and we will continue to share future construction updates regarding the next phase of this project as they become available. The Chalk Lake Goodale and Leroy, this is the water main replacement project that was approved this evening. We can anticipate a pre-construction meeting in the coming weeks. West Maple water main replacement work is scheduled to begin next week. Dreon School, Stefan, road construction and water main replacement. Bid for this project will be going out in the coming weeks. The consumer gas main replacement effort has begun in this area and is in coordination with the forthcoming road and water main work in this area. Last week at the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, the initial findings were shared by Smith Group from the 700 participants that took place in the City Park Survey and Hunter Assessment. The Smith Group is the service provider that conducted the survey. Per our service agreement with them, there will be one more town hall to share the results. I anticipate it will occur in late May, early June, and we will be heavily promoted in advance for public awareness once a final date has been identified. I want to inform council that I have not forgotten about the on-street parking interest. Staff and I discussed it during yesterday's weekly staff meeting. As many of you know, the City of Berkeley previously and successfully implemented an on-street parking permit program. We are inquiring with Berkeley staff about their availability for further collaboration to include presentation to council. And last, I have a hats off to the host of students for a very well-developed presentation on teen addiction. Pending any questions, that's my report.
I have 3 questions. Question number 1, in regard to the school, Stefan and Dreon, so you said you're getting bids for all of them, but I assume since they're all connected, do you know, like, what's one street, are they going to be done in succession? Because it's school, Stefan, Dreon, right? So they're not going to do all 3 of them at the same time.
No, you're going to see basically much like you witnessed with Elmwood, where there was one-way streets and there was access to mitigate where people would not have access directly to their driveways, you'll see that approach as well. But it's going to be a very interrupting summer. We have a lot going on. We have aggressive problems, and we have an aggressive schedule to address those problems.
And so how does that work? So you do one side of the street and the other side. I live on Dreon. My neighbors keep asking me about it, and I'm like, I don't know. But the biggest concern is we have a couple elderly people, and they're concerned about the distance to their cars.
Yep.
So how does that work?
If you remember, there was a lady that was here from Elmwood, and they work very closely with AEW. They have an actual a number and point of contact to coordinate special issues like that.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. I don't remember that, but thank you. All right, question number 2, the grant meeting tomorrow that the residents spoke to, I assume someone's attending?
We'll bring it to DPW's attention, and chances are they're already attending that meeting.
Perfect. And then finally, the gutters at Runshaw, is there a plan to have those addressed?
So I will address that with DPW, and I'm sure we have an in-house fix. I'll get creative.
Okay, cool. I mean, I was going to say, there's companies that do that if we don't have a ladder
Fire
big enough.
department with giant ladders, too.
That's right, yeah, just pull the truck up. All right, cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Any other questions for the?
Yes, I do. Do we know if we will have a flock presentation at the next meeting?
We have the request for them to be here. They haven't confirmed yet. But we do anticipate having some flock representative, whether it's here or via Zoom, before you make a vote.
Awesome. Yes.
There was a resident here last meeting in regards to things that were happening in front of her house on 53 Bauman. You probably, just was wondering if there was an update on it.
So I've been in contact with her, and so this is a unique situation that we're sharing. We're going through our archives, and I've been in touch with her, and I sent her an email as recent as today that I would be giving her biweekly updates until we run this to ground.
Very good. Anyone else? All right.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry.
a couple. I think it's three or four cities pipeline. When does that commence? Do you guys know on our side of, because it's going to be cutting through Clausen?
I believe that project starts this year down Nakota.
Yeah, and I did. Do you know?
I don't know an exact
dates of
start
when
date.
they start tearing the
Once
roads
we
up or
know a
anything?
date,
Yeah, I'll get a date for you.
Okay,
We'll
just
publicize
curious.
it.
And then the school board, city council task force, we have to appoint somebody there now. When is the next time you need a rep in that position from us?
I mean, I don't think we necessarily need a rep immediately, but I mean, it's something if someone's interested and you want to make, I'd welcome that. We know that the next issue of the Clausen Pulse, the cover's already dedicated to the school district. We made that determination the last meeting that we were at, which was like shortly after the election. So I think you have time if you want. It's nothing pressing at the moment.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious if we can wait till, after the appointment, or if we need to do it next meeting, or, okay, so we have time. Thank you, that was it.
All right. One more time, looking this way. One more time, looking this way. Awesome. All right. Next item is city council comments. Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke.
Nothing for me tonight.
Councilmember Peltonen.
Well, yes, I just want to thank Councilmember Rinkovich for her service and wish my mom a happy birthday today.
Ah, nice. Should we all sing or no? Councilmember Slawinski.
I have no comments tonight.
All right. Councilmember Spishak.
No comments for me tonight.
Councilmember Tinlin.
Just one tonight. So I just would like to let everyone know the CYA, the Clausen Youth Assistance, is having a youth recognition service Thursday, April 9th at 6 p.m. at the Hunter Community Center. We're going to recognize 26 outstanding young citizens and celebrate with their families. So anyone wants to stop by, there's going to be cake and beverages. Thank you.
Will there be coffee?
We can make that happen.
All right. I just want to, as usual, thank you everyone who came to hang out with us tonight. It's great to have people sitting in the chamber so we're not speaking out to the ether. So thank you everyone who took their time out of their day to be here. I did enjoy the presentation. I think they did a great job. And I enjoyed the collaborative conversations that we all had this evening. That's all I've got. We do have another item on the agenda where we're considering going into closed session for purposes of receiving attorney-client privileged communications regarding the matter of West Belt County Pro Ltd. Versus City of Clausen pursuant to MCL 15.268 parentheses H of the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.261.
Madam Mayor, I move to go into closed session for the purposes of receiving attorney-client privileged communication regarding the matter of West Belt Country Pro Limited versus City of Clausen pursuant to MCL 15.268H of the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.261, be approved.
Support.
All right, and we'll take a little 5-minute recess to refresh ourselves as we head towards the conference room. Roll call, please.
Mayor Moffett?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke?
Yes.
Councilmember Peltonen?
Yes.
Councilmember Slawinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Spishak?
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin?
Yes.
All right, All right. Well, welcome back. I am going to go ahead and make a motion that we approve the city manager to move forward as advised, the city attorney to move forward as advised.
Second.
And roll call, please. We should do a tally at the end of each who got the most seconds.
Councilmember Pelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Slawinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Spishak,
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin,
Yes.
Mayor Moffett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke.
Yes.
All right. And then,
Thank you very much, will do.
yes, sir. And then how about a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember
I'm getting some under my
Slawinski,
belt.
Yes.
Councilmember Spishak,
Yes.
Councilmember Tinlin, Mayor Moffett,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Rourke,
Yes.
Councilmember Pelton.
Yes.
We are adjourned. We'll see you next on April 21st. Thank you.